Guys, every year in the NFL draft, these GMs and these coaches, they overthink one or two players. That player gets drafted way later than they should. And then the season comes around, they start dominating, and everyone is kicking themselves. This year, that overthought player is my next draft crush. What's up, everybody? Welcome in Seth Floyd Show. I'm your host, Seth Floyd Hansen. Guys, when I hit record on this video, we were at 365 subscribers. Thank you so much. That's like 4 since my last video dropped on Monday. Thank you so much. Please hit that subscribe button if you are new here. I'm trying to get to 500 by the beginning of football season. You really helped me out a bunch. I appreciate you. Tet Mcmillan out of Arizona, wide receiver. Guys, this is your classic overthink. He's going to slide in the first round a little bit. I don't think he's going to make it to the second round. But before this season, well, let's back up. During the college football season this year, it felt like everyone had Tet Mcmillan as their number one receiver. It felt like everyone had him as a top 10 pick because that's been the trend. It's a passing league. Wide receivers have been going top 10, and everyone just assumed it'd be him. And then for some reason during draft season right now, his stock has fallen. My guy, Tet McMillan, I'm a big Tet McMillan guy. He's who I go to for my draft, like an overview of the draft. I've always liked his insight. And he's low on Tet Mcmillan. And his thing is, he's not as aggressive with his 50-50 balls. That was the one. And he's in love with Matthew Golden from Texas, which I'm a Texas guy. I like Matthew Golden. But Tet Mcmillan, it just came out. So he didn't run his 40 at the combine, but he ran it at his pro day. You know what he ran, guys? He ran a 4.48. This human being, this man, is 6'5", 212 pounds. And when you watch him play, when you watch the film, he is not just a straight line strider. So the guy he's kind of compared to a little bit is DK Metcalf simply because of his size. Now DK is thicker. DK is 230, 235 or something. And Tet is 215, so he's more slender. DK also is more of a straight line guy. His lateral agility isn't great. He's not a bad athlete. He can move laterally, but he is a strider, one direction kind of guy. When you watch Tet Mcmillan with the ball in his hands, and when you watch him run routes, he runs it like he's a 6-foot slot guy or a 5'10" slot guy. He's got great lateral agility. His hands, he's very natural catching the ball. Okay. He tries to run around guys. He is a very good athlete at 6'5". Now, we have seen 6'5" receivers fail in the NFL. We've seen 6'3" and plus receivers fail in the NFL. But here's what I'll say about Tet Mcmillan compared to those guys. Excuse me. Usually, those guys who fail in the NFL at that size are non-production guys. Guys that underperformed at the college level, or maybe they came on late at the college level. They don't have the stats and numbers to back it up, but someone takes a flyer on them in the second, third, or fourth round, and then they just never really pan out. Guys, Tet Mcmillan for 2 years now has been labeled and viewed as the best receiver in college, and he has produced. All he's done is produce. Teams know he's coming. Arizona wasn't a particularly good team this year, by the way. They didn't have a stacked offense. They know where that football is going, and it's to Tet Mcmillan, and they couldn't stop him. Guys, last year, so not in 2024, but 2023, he had 90 catches for 1,400 yards and 10 touchdowns. He followed that up with the heat, the pressure, the target on his back this year, knowing he's probably the best receiver, first receiver going to go in the draft. You know what he followed it up with? 84 catches, 1,319 yards, and 8 touchdowns. Oh, by the way, his first year in college, I think he only had about 500 yards, but he still had 8 touchdowns. The guy is a high-volume machine. He is 6'5". He is 215 pounds. He runs a 4.48, and he has the numbers to back it up. High volume, catches everything, lots of touchdowns, lots of yards. And the NFL draft, these GMs, these coaches are going to overthink this. They're going to overthink it. Now, he's not going to slide out of the first round, but could he slide into the 20s? Could he slide? I mean, actually, I'll say this. McShay talks about him, if you go listen to his pod, he talks about him like he could slide out of the first round, which is, not, I don't think it's going to happen, but they're crazy to me. Crazy. I don't know what more you could want. It's some intangible thing that people are on him about. Like, he's not tenacious enough. He's not aggressive enough with his 50-50 balls. Like, that's the only knock I've heard. I've heard McShay said, I didn't think he was as aggressive or physically as imposing as you'd think at 6'5". He wasn't as aggressive with his 50-50 balls, and there's a lot of coaches and GMs that aren't as high on him. Why? Probably because they're in love with these smaller, blazing speed guys. And those guys are fine, but holy crap. Go watch Tet Mcmillan highlights. Now, he's not perfect. He's not perfect, and I'm not even saying he's going to be... I don't know if he'll ever be the best receiver in the NFL. Like, chances are he's probably not. Chances are he's probably not a top 3 receiver in the NFL. Maybe at his peak. I'm just saying he's going to be good. He's going to be very good. Now, what does this mean for the 49ers? This is a 49er channel, okay? 49er fans, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't think the Niners are going to take Tet Mcmillan, nor do I think they should. But kind of like Tyler Warren, if they take Tet McMillan, like, I'm going to be jumping up and down. Because here, let's think about it. What is a scenario where they would take Tet McMillan? Well, I mean, they could just take him. If he falls to them at 11 and they have him ranked really high, it's like what if they have him as the 5th or 6th best player in the draft? And they just take him because of value. Okay, I promise you're not going to regret having Tet McMillan on your team. 3 years from now, you will be ecstatic that they took Tet McMillan. Despite having Ayuk and Pearsall and Jennings, and you don't know what the team's going to look like in 2020. I mean, what is 3 years from now? 2028? You don't know. And I promise you'll be happy that dude is on your team. Now, I don't think it's going to happen, but what is a likely scenario that it could happen? Well, I'll tell you this. If they trade Brandon Ayuk before the draft and accumulate some draft picks, I don't know what his price would be. It's hard to see them moving off him without a 2nd-round pick. I mean, if it's not, then it's got to be like 2/3 or a 3rd and a 4th. I don't know. I don't really want them to trade him. But I get why they would do it. Offload the contract. They're just trying to build a foundation of young, like, studs, and they need more picks. I mean, they got 11 picks, but whatever. If they trade away Brandon Ayuk, then be on Tet McMillan watch, because that's the kind of move they would make. And to the chagrin of 49er fans, like, you guys would lose your mind because of the offense and defensive line. I'm gonna put my foot down, specifically the defensive line. But regardless of what some of you think, the defensive line is in worse shape than the offensive line. But is there anybody worth taking at 11? In fact, this whole draft process, all everyone is talking about is the depth of the D-line class in the 2nd and 3rd rounds. So what if Mason Graham's off the board? We know Abdul Carter's going to be off the board. Mason Graham's off the board. What if they are just not, like, they love Walter Nolan, but they're like, do we really want to take him at 11? They really like Kenneth Grant or Derek Harmon, but do they want to take him at 11? And then they start thinking, well, we could trade back. Or, holy crap, Tet McMillan fell to us. It's going to be tempting if you trade away Brandon Ayuk. It would be tempting. My prediction, of course, is no, they will not take him. They're not going to draft him. But definitely not. I would say definitely not if Ayuk is still on the team. But there's these whispers of Ayuk being gone will not go away. So you never know. I mean, we still have a little over a month till the draft. If it happens, like, I think instantly you start looking at that. Because I got news for you. Like, if I had to put money on it, now it would be a gamble, but I would imagine Tet McMillan becomes a better receiver than Brandon Ayuk. BA's been great. Like, I'm a big fan of BA. I hated what happened last year. Listen, I know that, like, the team drags out these contract negotiations, but it also feels like BA was about the drama last year, and, like, I got really over it. Couldn't decide. All these teams wanted to trade for him, and he didn't want to play for him. Like, the Patriots offered him $32 million. He didn't want to play there. Like, Anyway, so I got over the diva stuff from Brandon Ayuk, but whatever. That's not even about this. I'm just saying, if I had to put money, I would think Tet McMillan's going to be a better receiver. In fact, I think if you ask most fans around the league, they're going to say, yeah, Tet McMillan's going to be way better than Brandon Ayuk. The only ones who aren't going to say that are probably 49er fans. But, I mean, just look at him. Look at him play. I'm not saying he's perfect. Like, maybe he is less aggressive at times for the 50-50 ball. I don't know. Maybe he's not as physically imposing. But there's not many 6'5" dudes that run and have the agility and athleticism that he has and the great hands. Like, don't overthink it. NFL GMs, coaches, if you stumble upon this late one night because you're bored, hit me up, give me a job. I'd love to be in your scouting department. But also, like, don't overthink this. This is stupid. This is like DK Metcalf going in a... Did he go in the third round? Was he a second rounder pick? I don't know. Anyway, he blew up the combine. He's like 0.5% body fat, runs a 4.3. Like, unbelievable. He had a bad 3-cone. I think he had a bad shuttle, but whatever. Like, overthought it. He would be a first-round pick. And that's what I think is going to happen with Tet McMillan. I would love to see him in the Niners. I am firm. Like, my position is if Mason Graham is off the board, if Armin Membo is off the board, the 49ers in their best interest would be to trade back into the 20s maybe even. Like, I don't know. Trade back. Just trade back however far. Pick up an extra third-round pick and a sixth-round pick or whatever you got to do. Okay, accumulate more picks because you can still get, I think you can still grab a Walter Nolan in the 20s, Derek Harmon in the 20s, Kenneth Grant in the 20s, guys that will start for you right away, plus you add extra picks. But don't tempt me with a good time. If Tet McMillan is on the board at 11, like, your boy is going to be on pins and needles. I'm going to be excited. I'm going to be on my edge of my seat. And 49er fans, you'll be upset. You know why you'll be upset? I'm going to explain something to you. Piecing it together. You're going to be upset because you say, in 2025, the trenches are not good. Well, like, let's look at this offseason, guys, that none of these moves that they've made have been for 2025. So it feels like we need to get that out of our heads. They are not building this roster for 2025 right now. They're building it for past 2025. Now, why are they doing that? Because they think with their roster, how it is constructed, if everybody's healthy, they can compete. They're not going to be Super Bowl favorites, but they'll be able to compete. You know why they think that? Because you still have a lot of good foundational pieces, and they think that they'll be able to add enough to the draft that they'll be able to compete in 2025. But every decision they're making right now is what is the best for 2025 and beyond 2025. How do we build this into a long-term success instead of handing out bad contracts? I saw an interesting thing. I'll leave it to you. I don't know why I said it that way. I'll leave this with you before I go. Okay, someone tweeted out, everyone's talking doomsday with the 49ers. And the vibes aren't great. And it's clear they are not pushing all their chips in the middle of the table to win in 2025. However, take all of your NFC West teams, okay? And the 49ers have more All-Pros than the other 3 teams combined on their roster still. They have 7. I think the Rams have 3. I think the I think the Seahawks have 1. I'm trying to think who that is. I'm not sure. Yeah, DeMarcus Lawrence, who they just traded for maybe? I don't know. And then the Cardinals have 0. They have more All-Pros combined than the rest of the division. Now you can say whatever you want. Say Seth Floyd, they're old, past their prime, blah, 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 blah. Fine, that's fine, but it doesn't change the fact that you have some foundational pieces. Even if they don't play at an all-pro level, they're playing at a high level. Nick Bosa's still in his prime. Fred Warner's still in his prime. George Kittle, who I thought was going to be getting out of his prime, is like, he looked like the best tight end in the league last year. Doesn't look like he's slowing down. Okay, Trent Williams is the one where I'm like, yeah, he's probably out of his prime. Christian McCaffrey, probably out of his prime. But who knows? We'll see what we get this year. I talked about him on the last video. Hopefully this year is a good bounce back year for him. Okay, you also have ascending players like Giamador Lenore, Malik Mustafa, okay, Dominic Pooney. Like, if you're not like believing they're going to win the Super Bowl, don't blame me. I don't really believe they're going to win the Super Bowl in 2025. But to think it's going to fall off a cliff, I don't think so. And they don't think so. That's why they're making these moves. They think we have enough foundational pieces right now that we can compete in 2025 without going to add all these free agents. We will just draft a bunch of dudes, as many as we can. We'll rely on those foundational pieces, cross our fingers they stay healthy, cross our fingers we have better luck than we did last year, and then let's just see how it all plays out. Because right now, guys, go to DraftKings. They're still favorites to win the NFC West. They're third in odds to win the NFC. They're like 6th in Super Bowl odds. So Vegas doesn't think it's fallen off the table, but they have to hit on their draft picks. They have to hit on their draft picks. I went on a tangent there. Tet McMillan, he's my guy. Okay, 49ers, if you want to take him, I won't complain, even though we need to address the trenches. GMs, coaches out there, you guys, if you're watching this, holla at your boy, give me a job. I'll work hard, I promise, but also don't let Tet McMillan slide. Don't overthink this. And everybody, if you're still here, please hit that like and subscribe button. Get me to 500 by the beginning of football season. And that's all I got. Go Niners.